Well, hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Akshat here with the part 2 of the Lumon Industries machine which we were doing. And if you guys haven't checked the part 1, I highly suggest you guys to check out the part 1 or else you'll feel a bit lost here. But even if you haven't watched the part 2, you will learn a lot. So without any further delays, let's just get started with doing the machine. I'll just start up my machine. So meanwhile it is starting, I'll just make it a full screen. And yep, so we have been already provided with the starting credentials, and in the last part we already collected the BloodHound data here. So I'll just first connect to the VPN and then we will have a look at the BloodHound data. Yep. So now we are connected to the VPN and the command was fairly simple. It is sudo openvpn and the name of your VPN config file. And I will just create a new terminal and name this terminal as VPN. So the shortcut command for renaming the terminal is Alt Shift and S, and the other terminal I'll just name it as terminal, and I will start up my BloodHound here, sudo BloodHound, and the command is this. So for those guys who don't know BloodHound, so I would like to tell about BloodHound. It is, just think of it like a Google Maps for Active Directory environment. It helps you to map out your attack surface and see the machines present in the Active Directory environment, and you can probably see the attack path here, like any user has any special permissions that could be exploited. So let's just get into it. I don't use Google Chrome, so I'll use my Firefox for that. Since we have already ingested the data here, we will not be doing that again. We did it in the last part itself. So we'll just log in here. And so we will go ahead and see our user which we have, which was Hellier, I believe, if I'm saying the name correct. So we have already marked this user as owned, and if we go ahead and look at, just a second, let it be here, and we see that this user is a member of 7 groups, in which this micro data group is something that probably stands out to us, and I think that could be something that we can exploit. Let's see. This group has 2 members, as we can see. We have Hellier and Marks. I haven't marked him as owned, so I'll remove it from owned. Sorry. Yep. So Hellier, I'll do that again. Yeah. So meanwhile, we already had a intranet service running, and that intranet was running an HTTP port, which was intranet.lumons.hacksmarter. So I have already added the IP to my etc host file, so I do not need to do that again, and so I can directly give the name and it will be working fine. Meanwhile, I'll see that the machine is working properly. Yep, it is. So we had this login panel, and we saw that in the last part that we were able to log in here using the provided credentials, But interestingly, there were no interesting directories, and using dir search also, we did not find anything here. So one thing which we already got was using SMB. So there was a share MD repo named the MD repo, and we had read and write permissions over that share. So first we connected over that share to see what files it has. So for that, the syntax which I used was SMB client, the tool. So I use the Impacket suits SMB client here. You can also use the normal SMB client, so that would be also working fine. So we will use MD repo, and then we'll do an ls, and okay, just a second guys, I'll just remove this file. This wasn't present here. So this was one thing I tried that seemingly did not work. So yep. So this was there, the Lumon's international.pdf file. So I'll just get that file. We already saw that file, but since I reset the machine, so that would not be present here. I'll just get that file. Yep, so I think we got it. So I'll create a new tab here. So we have the file, and when we open that file, PDF file, we see that in the last page there is this thing given here to us about authentication, that on the intranet sign-in page, enter your domain in username in the format lumons / your username or your username at lumons.hacksmarter. So this is something to look out for. And one thing, since we can try here, is since we had access read and write permissions both in the MD repo share, which I'll just show you guys again so that we stay confirmed that we have that access. So meanwhile it is loading. Yeah, see, this works. The credential works just fine for us since these are provided initial credentials. Yeah, see this. This is the one which I'm talking about. We have read and write access to this MD repo share. So in the last part, I also thought of giving a try for using the NetExec Slinky module. NXE has this module named Slinky where it creates a Windows shortcut dot LNK file, which is basically a Windows shortcut file. And then I turned on my responder, but seemingly it did not work. So one thing we already saw was there was a URL extension file already present there in the share. So I thought, why not, let's just give it a try using a .url extension file. Maybe .lnk does not work. These are all assumptions that I think this would work. So there is a tool I can think of, and if you guys know about it, it is NTLM theft. It is available on GitHub. So you just go on to Google, and what that basically does is it creates a file like how LNK does, like the Slinky module does. It just creates the files, but with all the other extensions that is available, like the .pdf, .xml, .url, like all of the extensions files, and then you can put them and see that if you turn on your responder on one side, and you will see that if you can get some hash back. So just a second. Locate. uh, just a second. I think uh, I tried it on some machines, so I must be having, yeah. So this is the one. You can go ahead and just type your NTLM theft GitHub. This I tried on a machine before. So this is the one which I'm talking about. So you just go and open it up, and you can use the git clone command. Like, you will copy it from here and just do the git clone. So I just do that here, and then I will cd into the NTLM theft. Then I would do python 3 NTLM theft.py. This is the command which I'll be using, and I will give it a name such as uh, let's give it a name hacker, which is a seemingly potential suspicious name, but since this is a machine or lab environment, we can do that and it will work just fine. And I suggest not doing it in a real enterprise environment. You will get caught up in a second due to the same alerts. So I will just start up my responder here. So I think there must be responder logs, so I will have to remove that for this to work. I don't even remember that, so I'll just check. Yep, so I will just remove that logs for this to work fine. Yep, so that worked fine. So yep, so the I'll confirm the IP. My IP is correct here given. Yep. So I'll start up the responder now on the tunnel 0 interface, and that is started here. I'll let that run here on one side, and the other side I will create this one. So you can see this has been created. I will cd into the hacker directory, and I'll I'll do an ls command here. So you can see that all of these files have been created here. So what I will do is I will upload these files into the share which we are able to access, that is the MD repo share, and then see if I get a hash back. So since I have already tried using the slinky module .lnk, did not work well, so I want to try with dot URL, because already there was one share one file present named Lumon's that .url extension. So I think that this would work fine, and since I have tried it before, so this worked well. So here I think this would not be able, we won't be able to do it here from put /home Kali desktop. I'll just try putting from the HackSmarter Lumon Industries and NTLM theft. Yep, so I'll see that this worked or not. So as I already had captured the hash, this would not work. This would not show the hash for this Harmony C user. But one thing to look is that we got a hash when uploading the .url extension file. So this machine has been designed in a way such that there is an assumed user that clicks onto this URL file, and the moment he clicks onto that share, and we get that hash back. So that's how this machine is working. So since I already had the hash, I will check if there is a way. I remember there was some way to see the responder logs. Okay, I'll just say cd user share responder logs, and I'll do an ls, and we already have this one right here. So I'll just do a cat here. That would show up in your responder, but not in mine, as I have tried this earlier, and that's how I got to know that this is working fine. Yeah, so this is the user which I'm talking about. This is the hash you will get when you try it for the first time, and I'll just copy this hash, and then I'll go here, make a hash.txt file, and try cracking it. So this is an NTLM v2 hash. So we'll let the hashcat run in the auto detect mode, and we will use the normal rocky.txt file and see if this is able to crack it, which it will. Yep. So as you guys can see that we have cracked the password of the user Harmony C, and this is the password. I will just zoom in a bit so that you guys are able to see this. Yep. Yep. So this is the password, and we can confirm this using NetExec. So we'll use nxc smb, and then we will supply the username, which is Harmony C, and this is the password, and we will first see if this is a valid credentials. So which it is a valid credential, guys. Then we will see if this user has any more interesting permission to any of the shares. Meanwhile, I'll let this run, and we'll check. We'll go over to BloodHound, and we'll mark that user as owned Harmony C. Yeah. So I'll mark this user as owned. So now we have marked this user as owned, and see if this is a member of any interesting groups, since we can see that this user does not have any outbound object control. So think of outbound object control as anything that your current user controls. So that's how this works in Active Directory. If you have any, let's say, an outbound object control of it is an ace is access control entries. So you have that, like, over another user, you have a force change password. So think of it as you do not know the password of another user, the current password, but your current user which you have access is able to change the password of another user without even knowing the current password. So that's how this works. This is a high level explanation of how this is working, but if you want, you can go deep into it. There are a lot of articles and YouTube videos around it. So we will see here if we are able to. So one thing to look out for that stands out here is administration group. Okay, this is not a domain admin or administrators group. Don't confuse it with that. This is a created group named administration. So we will go ahead and see what is this group and what are the members of this group. There are two members supposedly which we can see is Harmony C and Helei. So Harmony C is which the user which we have owned, and the Helei seems to be a high value target because there is a diamond shape as you can see here, which means that this user has some really interesting permissions. So let's see what we can do with our current user Harmony C that we have compromised. So we can see that this user has no interesting permissions, read and write, nothing. So this has the general one which was already there with our initial access credentials. We will try with the domain controller as well. So we will specify the domain controller IP, which is this one. So this are like these credentials are valid on the domain controller as well. But here we can see that we do not have any interesting access permissions. I'll just clear that up or do a control L and then so that you guys are able to see it well. Yep. See, we do not have any interesting shares accessible, but on one side we do have a HTTP service running the web server. These credentials we can try it over there and see if that works, because whenever you have a valid set of credentials, it is worthwhile to look out for if these credentials are valid on that login portal. So let's try copying it and we will go to the login page. We will paste the Harmony C and his password. So I'll just copy paste it, as typing it takes a bit much more time. So I just copy pasted it here and let's try if these credentials are valid or not. Yep. So guys, these are valid set of credentials which we can see, and one thing we can see is this admin panel we are able to access. If you remember in the BloodHound we saw that this user was a part of an administration group. So since we were a part of that administration group, maybe I think that is how we are able to access this admin panel. Let's see. This has something named you unlock AD account, ping server, and browse file share. So we can try doing an ls here if this works. Okay, only UNC paths are allowed. Since UNC paths are allowed here and only that is allowed on this, we can probably give it a try, that responder, turning that responder on, our responder on, and then we can point this towards our IP and point it towards any share which is not present. You can give anything and we can probably get a hash. That's how I think that is working. That is based on assumptions, guys. So I think that should work. 1 second, I will just check that out. I'll do NLS. I will remove all the logs just so that we do not have any problem here. rm-rf logs. Okay, we need sudo permissions here. Yep, so it is removed. I will turn the responder on again. So the command for it is sudo responder -i for the interface and tunnel 0. So I'll just turn that on. Yep, so it is listening for events, guys. Now I will point it towards my share. See, this is one thing I've already tried and it did work. That is why I want to show you guys how this works. Is we have given our IP here and something we can give it anything like share, write, anything for that matter. And we basically what we are doing is we are pointing this towards our IP so that we can gain a hash. So if I click here, so you will see that on this side we have already captured this hash, skipping previously captured hash for harmony C. Okay, so we already have this user's hash, so probably that would not be really interesting to look out for. So one thing that we can probably try again if this works. Okay, so it is skipping the hashes captured. That is because, guys, this error is happening only because I have tried that earlier and I've got that hash before. So that is how this is working. I will just remove my logs. So there is a log file, that is why this is. Okay, so I'll just search responder skipping previously captured hashes. Yep, so I'll download it again, so just that I don't get any error using that. So I'll go here and git clone it. And go to responder python3 responder.py. That is the command, I believe. Yep. Okay, so that must be run as root. Okay, no worries. I'll just use sudo here. Yep. Okay, see, now it is on, and now we will try that again and see if this works. Meanwhile, I have turned that responder off already, so that wouldn't be. Yep. So we'll do this again and see. We have captured the hash for that same user harmony C, which we have already which we already have it. So there's not something really new to us. So we can move ahead and see if there are any other alternatives to look out for. Basically, what I wanted to look and see was that even if, let's say, we have tried that responder and got this hash previously, but I wanted to see why it is skipping that hash, even if I have removed the logs. So, no worries, guys. Meanwhile, we'll just go ahead and see. So, whenever you see something like this ping server, it is definitely worthwhile to look out for a remote code execution. So, you can do something like, let's say, ping 10 20 dot 2020 20.20.10.20, something for that purpose, and then you give it an ls. This is how you check for remote code execution if we do have any command injection vulnerability here. So we'll do an ls and see if that works. Which is working here, guys. We can see that this does work here, right? So now what we can do is we can point it towards the user. Sorry, we can point it towards the domain controller, since it will be definitely be able to ping the domain controller. We can do it here, and then we can see that. I'll do an ls and see if this works. Yeah, this is working, guys. So let's see, let's think what we can do from here. Browser file share. We tried doing that, but weren't successful in gaining anything other than the Harmony C user. We cracked that hash already, and we got the password for this user. Right. So from here, how do we move forward? So I'll just clear this up and go back to my terminal and cd Lumon Industries. Clear this up. So there must be some way or the other that we can probably get it. Let's go to the home tab, and there is a terminal here. Let's try using that terminal as well. Okay, so we do an help to see what are the commands available. So stats, time, cam, unlock, and announce. These are the things. So announce, and then okay, 10 dot Let's try doing something like this if this works. Okay, so we have to paste the IP manually 10.236.173 10.200. Okay, so it is not taking the dot. So I don't think this would be very useful for us. Let's go back to admin panel. Okay. Maybe we do have something here. Since we have access to this user, and this user is a member of users certificates services. Okay, so not really something very interesting of that sort. We have already marked this user as owned, and let's see from here what we can do. Hmm. Only UNC paths are allowed. So our responder is skipping the hash because it has already captured this one. So nothing really interesting here. Let's try from SMB client. So we will use the credentials for Harmony C and then the password as well, which is this one, I think. Where is it? Yep, this one. So I'll just paste it here and hit enter. Yep, so we'll see shares, use MD repo, do an ls. Nothing really interesting for us here. So what can we do done from here? Meanwhile, I would love to hear your suggestions, guys. You can also give me a suggestion where I can look out for, probably, since we tried using it, but somehow we are not able to access the another user or compromise it. Okay, so let's see. Just a minute, I'll drink some water. Yeah. Let's see our bloodhound thoroughly and check if there is any pathfinding from our user to domain admin, domain admins group. No. Okay. There must be some way or the other how we can go forward. That is where I am looking for. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay. No worries, guys. Meanwhile, this is a natural stopping point since I believe I cannot make this video too long. I will be making it in several parts. So, in the next part, we will go ahead and see if we are able to capture any other user, and let's see, try solving this machine. And one thing I would emphasize on is, or I would say we can try it on your own as well and see if you are able to move ahead from here and see if you are able to compromise any other user. You too learn a lot by watching me, but you also learn a lot by doing the machines yourself. So that would be a great way, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this machine and how you moved forward or how did you compromise any other user. So with that said, I am stopping this video right here and we will move ahead in the next part, and stay tuned for the next part and it will be coming soon, guys. So meanwhile, do like, share, subscribe, and do all the YouTube algorithm things. And please show some support to our YouTube channel, guys. We do learn together. And with that said, let's come to an end. Thank you, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.